What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, January 28th, 2020. Bitcoin making some moves, breaking some key areas in terms of patterns, in terms of moving averages and resistance. I want to talk about that in this video, even put up a nice little target for you, the bullish target that we've talked about on this channel before. Before I do, I tweeted a little bit ago, big day for Bitcoin as it approaches the previous lower high from October and breaks 200 daily moving average. And this is simply what it looks like on the chart. You remember this lower high on this long-term falling wedge back in October, November time. Bitcoin tanked from there. And then we kind of been questioning in our technical analysis, well, we're having some resistance at the 200 moving average here. It's definitely a caution sign, right? We bounced off of it and we just questioned, is this going to be a new lower high in this long-term falling wedge for Bitcoin to continue down? It's only right, it's only wise to question that and to anticipate a move like that. The best thing Bitcoin did after hitting that resistance here at the 200 moving average is kind of bounced off of this upper trend line, right? So we had that break through the trend line, resistance at 200 moving average, testing the trend line, showing support at the trend line and a bounce. That is the best thing it could have done, and that's what it did. And we broke the 200 moving average on this daily chart. You can see it here in terms of this daily candle. So huge for Bitcoin to break that area. If we zoom out on the charts and actually just go back to the bear market bottom, there are a lot of similarities in terms of what Bitcoin has been doing. We had the bull market high in January 2018, end of December area back here where we broke through that 50 moving average for the first time, and we just put in all these lower highs into the bear market until we finally hit that bottom here in December 2018. Now, Bitcoin making that reversal looks very similar to the reversal that Bitcoin's potentially putting in here, just on a smaller scale, right? So you could imagine that this June swing high that Bitcoin had falling into this falling wedge is very similar to the bull market high falling into the bear market low, right? And the reversal will look very much similar if we get a reversal, just on a smaller scale. And what I mean by that is if we look at the bear market bottom and we look at Bitcoin kind of grappling down here with the 50 moving average after hitting this bear market bottom, and then finally struggling in between the 50 moving average and the 200 moving average with a strong break through the 200 moving average. That was the first sign of the bear market reversal that everybody was waiting for, and the first sign of just really nice gains for Bitcoin. So similarly, we have the same exact thing. Bitcoin bouncing around in between the 50 moving average and the 200 moving average. That's this blue line and this red line, and ultimately breaking through this 200 moving average. It is a great first sign, and really the best thing to look out for if you're watching the daily charts is just a similar move that Bitcoin had after breaking the 200 moving average back in April 2019. Everybody remembers the beginning of that massive run that Bitcoin had. That's higher highs and higher lows, right? And in the process of doing that and tracking that, we're going to look at certain areas, namely, since we broke the 200 moving average, that is now support area, right? And that's around $8,800 or so right down here. So I shouldn't say you should always anticipate. It's just my technical analysis. I'm always anticipating pullbacks to these key areas that Bitcoin has broken, because that's where we get confirmation that Bitcoin could potentially continue in this bullish momentum. And that's how higher highs and higher lows get set up, right? So we're on the daily chart here, but just assuming if there was some short-term resistance here, we came back down and tested this $8,800, $8,900 area. That could be a first really nice looking higher low for Bitcoin after breaking this 200 moving average. So it would look something like this with continuation to the upside. That is really what I'm looking for, to see if this is like kind of a longer term thing, and if Bitcoin is ultimately going to make its way to this weekly target of above $12,000. That's the true breakout target from this falling wedge that we've been tracking for a while. We're looking at the weekly chart, some things to take note of. It just looks really good when you're looking at this 50-week moving average, this blue line. Bitcoin spent some time below that area, in December, and it was a little concerning. We did a lot of videos in terms of, how much lower can Bitcoin go if it doesn't break above that 50-week moving average. And beginning of January, we broke through it, and we've seen support above it with a slow just uptrend, and Bitcoin approaching the upper trend line of this wedge. It just looks really good in terms of what a falling wedge breakout might look like. So the conservative in me will discuss kind of a little bit of a downtrend, the possibility for it. I throw it out there. You do with it what you will. But right now, Bitcoin around $9,300 or so. And we always look for, after breaking through a wedge, a revisit to that trend line. So right now, that's around 13% or so to the downside. Also pretty confluent with that 50-week moving average. Not necessarily a bad thing if Bitcoin made a move like that down here to the $8,200 area. That could, again, be a really good bullish, if you have the patience to wait around for that and watch it, a bullish higher low for Bitcoin on this weekly chart to continue an uptrend. This breakout target of 12,000, I just want to throw this out there. This is the weekly chart within a pattern that extends back to June. So that $12,000 target isn't like a target for this week, right? You can see so many ways this might play out. This very hypothetical drawing that I put has maybe a March time target, 10,000 plus, 11,000, 12,000. I get the fact that Bitcoin can break out like ridiculously tonight and we can be at $11,000 tomorrow morning. I get it. That's what Bitcoin does. It can do that. We all want it to do that. However, playing the long game, playing the patient game is just what works for me. I don't have the mental capacity to always be hoping and wishing for Bitcoin to go parabolic and just up $3,000 overnight to hit this bullish target. Would I want that? Heck yeah, absolutely. I would love that. But we're not kind of in that reality right now in terms of how I do technical analysis. So zooming out on the charts, the Bitcoin weekly chart looks really awesome. Things are looking good. We're above that falling wedge. That's what we want to see. Always anticipate some downside. But again, if we're looking at the 4-hour chart, you get a sense of how close Bitcoin is to really testing and breaking this previous lower high on Bitcoin in October in this falling wedge. And right now, I mean, that's really this crazy wick is right around 10,300, but we had a lot of trading action right around here, around $9,700 or so, $9,600. That's the area I would love to see Bitcoin break in the short term. So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm watching on Bitcoin. Let me know your thoughts. How are you feeling about Bitcoin's recent move? We have some other altcoins moving. How are you feeling in general about the crypto market? I would love to know your thoughts. I appreciate you coming by. If you're here and you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you as part of the channel. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your night, and God bless.